Hi there. Happy Monday and welcome to 15 minutes of consulting best practices. I'm David A. Fields and Marie-Isabel is under the weather, so I'm here by myself this week. But welcome. If you're new, the drill is you ask questions. Just post a link or post your comment, your question in the comment section here, and eventually they show up on the screen and we just answer them. It is straight up Q&A, and I hope you're here live. And if you are, start typing questions so that we'll get some questions in. We can play Stump David today since Maria Isabel isn't here. Hi, John. Okay. So while we're waiting for you all to show up, some things did come in by email. So Jaron, what's first in our magic bag of questions that came in? All right, from Terrence. Let's see what Terrence says. I am trying to establish a coaching consultancy business providing sustainability services to the hotel industry. Okay. I'm having difficulty identifying key contacts and subsequently cannot create marketing materials or have those important initial conversations. Any advice or guidance? Yeah, sure. Well, good for you, Terrence, though I will admit, so, okay, you haven't stumped me, but I'm slightly thrown off by your question because it sort of sounds like you're trying to establish a consulting business in an industry where you have no contacts. And that's certainly not something we would advise. Consulting is built on contacts and relationships. And if you have none in an industry, then you're in for a year or 2 years or 3 years long slog while you build relationships. And I mean, it can be done. It can absolutely be done. We have done it with a number of clients, but it takes time, and it's usually best done off of a current base. So you already have a practice that's doing fine, and you're going to add another practice, and you start to meet other folks. To create a new practice, brand new, where you don't know anyone, that sounds like it will be challenging. So, the idea here is start where you already know some people. Okay, that said, if you want to create relationships in new market, then the best thing to do is lean on partners who do have those contacts. In other words, borrow tribes that include your target market. And you borrow those tribes from software vendors, from trade associations, from data providers, from other consulting firms that offer adjacent services, like anyone who has a tribe that contains your prospects. And then you borrow the tribe by creating value that the partner will appreciate you for providing value for their tribe. In other words, you create value that some partner is going to say, oh yeah, this would be really helpful to our tribe. So practically speaking, maybe it's a webinar or a podcast or a giveaway of some sort. And those all work. And there are other ways to start building relationships, but that would be my initial recommendation. And if you're listening in and you have a different idea, hi Joe, happy Monday, post it. And Terrence, if you're listening in live and I didn't answer the right question, post your question so I know what the right question is. And does anyone out in front who's listening have thoughts on that? If you think differently or if you think that will work, let me know. All right, Jaron, folks are being quiet. Do we have anything else, or will this be the shortest 15 minutes ever? Oh, we have another one. Okay. If I start off as a sole proprietor of the consulting practice, okay, so you're solo, got it. How should I introduce my partners who are not within the same company, but are independent consultants themselves? All right. The objective is to convey to potential clients that we are a team. Yeah, all right. Okay, John, got it. So you're solo right now. You're going to work with some other solos, and you want to show that you're a team. Okay, fine. This is probably less complicated than you're making it, because you can be a team without being under the same banner, without being under the same logo. And for the most part, clients don't care. They're hiring you because they trust you, and they trust you also to assemble a team, to have resources available that are the right resources to solve their problem. Right? That's why they hire you. They trust you. They believe you are a reliable, credible source of a solution for their challenge. which means all you need to say is, look, Yuri, because all clients are named Yuri, there are three of us that will be working on this project for you. I'll be your project lead. I'm your main point of contact. And also on the team is Billy Bob Burrito from Triple B Consulting. And he has deep expertise in the air fryer market. And he's going to be overseeing a lot of the crunchy parts of the project because we're all about puns here. And social media work streams, all that work is going to be led by Betty Talks a Lot from Talks a Lot Media Group. And Billy and Becky and I have combined on projects similar to yours before with excellent outcomes. And we're all really excited to jump into action with you. That's it. I mean, that's literally, that's all you need to say. You've now introduced two other folks on your team. You haven't pretended that they are somehow part of your firm, which would be an absolute no-no, right? You don't lie. Don't be disingenuous. Again, it's your insecurities that are causing concern here. It's in all likelihood not your client's doubts. And so just be upfront. Yeah, and we're using this person because he's great, and we're using this other woman, talks a lot because she's great, and there you go. All right. Still no questions. And John, let me know if you're listening whether that answers your question. It is a quiet group today. Perhaps on the East Coast, it's pretty rainy out. Maybe the rain is dampening your questions. Don't know. That's right. Oh, Catherine, piggyback off the last question. Do you think it's too risky to take on a fractional leadership engagement, but down the road, introduce a trusted subcontractor with similar experience to help manage the workload should my bandwidth become tight in the future? Well, there's two questions in there. First, a great question, Catherine. We're not huge fans of fractional engagements, so that's a whole nother topic. Is it risky to introduce a sub? No, it's not risky to introduce a sub, not at all. That said, assuming you have a non-circumvention agreement with your subcontractor, which you should. Your standard language with subcontractors, your standard contract with subcontractors should include a clause that prohibits them from circumventing you, from taking any kind of project directly with the client. What I will tell you is if you are completely out of the loop, and you've been out of the loop for a year, for 2 years, and your client is working just with the subcontractor, it's likely that the client is going to want to just contract directly with that subcontractor. And it may be best for the client at that point to just let them have at it. You might take a small referral fee or a piece of it, but if you're really no longer in that client, then turn the client over, because it's not in the client's best interest for you to still be hanging on there. Catherine, let me know if that answers your question, or if you have a follow-up on your piggyback. Okay. And John, you found that when they show their own business cards, there can be some confusion for the client. I have first of all, who uses business cards anymore, John? Yeah, or different emails. I haven't seen that it causes a lot of confusion. I've seen more that it causes consternation for the lead consultant, who somehow is feeling they are look less than because other folks have different cards. As long as you can give an email address, it's fine. I do think it is okay to have other folks on your team have emails that share your domain just for ease of communication with the client, as long as you do not present them as being part of your firm when they are not. Okay, because we don't want to be disingenuous. That's where it runs into trouble. But you say, look, they have their own firms. Billy Bob of Triple B Consulting has his own firm. And what was her name? Talks a Lot from Talks a Lot Media. She has her own firm. But we've set up email addresses to make it easy for you. All the email addresses is going to be Billy at workconsulting.com and Brenda at workconsulting.com. And okay, right. So you can make it easy for them without being disingenuous. All right, John, let me know whether that works for you. And Joe says, if you need extra questions, any advice, or keeping track of your networking outreach from a personal management point of view. I don't know what that means, Joe, so clarify. Same question, you have a small team of partners, how to review, hold accountable, etc. Joe, I'm not 100% sure on your question yet. So if you don't mind, just clarify slightly and then I'll answer it. Catherine, interesting food for thought. Awesome. Sonnet. Hi, David. You mentioned who uses business cards. So when going to a conference, what should we share to connect? Doesn't everybody just use these things now? I don't know. Maybe I'm new fashioned or something. You can use business cards at a conference, but for the most part, folks, you meet someone and say, "Hey, let me just grab your text, your phone number or your email address, and I'll shoot you an email, and then you'll have my contact information." Which is what they're looking for, is your email address. So that's what I would do. I mean, you can pass around business cards. A lot of business cards now have a QR code on them. So they really only function as something that allows someone to use their smartphone, which is what they want to do for the first place. So put your contact information in a little thing with a QR code, and so people can just scan your code. And there's probably even smarter ways to do that really old people like me don't know about yet. Okay. Oh, look, Daniel just said, Dan, exactly. There are electronic business cards, QR codes, and LinkedIn QR codes. See what he said. That's exactly right. Joe, how to manage keeping track of who I've reached out to or not, when to follow up, and A1. Okay. Use a big Excel file. All right. What you're talking about, Joe, I understand your question now. And for those of you who are looking in, hopefully you can see his question. You're talking about a CRM. So how do you manage all of your contacts? You manage them via a CRM. And we have more than we can fit in here. We have best practices for how to set up a CRM that works for a consulting firm or for an individual consultant. If you are on your own and your network core is fairly small, you could use Excel. There's nothing particularly wrong with that. However, once you've reached any kind of scale, and even as a solo consultant, we do recommend you use a CRM. We have a link somewhere. Maybe we can post it afterwards, Jaron, for Pipedrive. It's one of the very, very few affiliate links we use. We do set that up because we want to know who's going on to Pipedrive, because most of our clients use it now, and we use Pipedrive. And Pipedrive, if you set it up correctly, or any CRM, if you set it up correctly, will help you keep track of who you've reached out to, who you're in conversation with, how many opportunities you've identified, where you are in terms of discussions with them, and then ultimately your conversion rates at every point, from meeting someone or reaching out to someone to closing business. Okay, so Joe, let me know if that answers your question. And Brian, you have a tip. Long hold the LinkedIn app icon on your phone homepage and select QR code. Quick way to pass info in the person. That's awesome, Brian. Thank you. Thank you. So if you know how to use your phone and you have the LinkedIn app and you long hold it, you can access the QR code and show it to people. That's awesome. And someone said there are apps with said codes, but I can't see what who your name is. And Susan Clapham, Pipedrive is good. Yes, it is. Pipedrive works extremely well. And again, I will tell you really quickly, and hi, hello, perfect. I will tell you very quickly the 3 keys to making a CRM work if you are a consultant or you run a consulting firm. Key number 1, it has to be simple. A lot of CRMs are overbuilt, and they're really built for managers of consulting firms as opposed to consultants. Keep it simple. 6 stages, really straightforward. Key number 2, don't manage it yourself. Use an admin to manage it. That's absolutely critical. Consultants bite at managing their own CRMs. Okay, so just have someone do it for you. And key number 3 is make sure it is action oriented, meaning the CRM should prompt you on any given day with exactly what to do. It should say, today's Monday, that's April, whatever today is, 7th maybe, and here's who you should be contacting today. Okay, and if you use those 3 keys, you can get yourself a good CRM setup. And somehow with that, we've used up most of our 15 minutes. And so thank you for spending 15 minutes with me. Before you go, one thing that the team realized is that a lot of folks who come and join us somehow have not read the Irresistible Consultant's Guide to Win Clients. So Jaron will put up a copy, and look, there's a link davidafields.com G2WC, Guide to Winning Clients, and a QR code, one of those fancy QR codes. If you have not read this book and you have not downloaded the bonus resources, do that. That will help tremendously. Also, make sure that we join the group here that's here and joining me. But look, thank you, Jaron. Jaron put Monday Live, davidafields.com, Monday Live. You can join us every week. If that's in your calendar, just make it a recurring appointment. And link to me and link to Maria Isabel. There's me, there's Maria Isabel. If you're not linked to us, then do that. And that's it. Thank you for being here. Have an amazing week. Remember, consulting's about them. It's about your clients. It's about your prospects. So give them value and give them kindness. And we'll see you next week. Take care.